Hello and welcome back to Jujutsu Kai Quest. I'm Sam.
And I'm Jim.
And welcome back to our Jujutsu Kaisen anime recap discussion podcast where we are discussing episode 38, 39, 40, and 41, which is probably going to be the last episodes of this season because of hiatus, because of working conditions.
Before we really jump into this, elephant in the room. So yeah, apparently a lot of the production staff at MAPPA have been tweeting, and the tweets mysteriously get deleted. But it's been that they're basically being overworked to a point that is just unprecedented.
Yeah. Literally, we learned that the Jujutsu Kaisen 0, they had 4 months to work on it, which is insane.
For a theatrical full-length movie
Yes.
in our day and age. That's crazy.
Yes, and
for the size of studio they are.
And there was some couple tweets that we saw that I think it was 20% of what they wanted to have in the last episode.
30%, yeah. So of episode 41, I think they said that someone tweeted, and of course this is a translation, but they said I'm glad that fans are enjoying it, but what was on screen represents 30% of what we wanted.
And some of it definitely did show of that episode, which we'll get to.
As obviously I'm not part of the animation team, but having watched it, I would say it felt like he was being very self critical.
Yes.
To me, I would say
there were
some issues, but I've seen finished, quote unquote, finished anime that have looked worse than that episode.
True.
So,
there are a couple things here and there that I will probably mention that okay, that did not look that good, and that was mostly just having a background and trying to superimpose something in front of it, debris throwing. I'm okay.
I do want to say it's vindicating. I'm sure it's not a thing to be proud of, I guess, but one of our commenters from forever ago, I think it was Zipstream, was saying how there's no way that they, at their current pace, that they could keep up the quality with this adaptation, and you have been proven correct, because apparently the team physically cannot keep up with it, which is crazy.
I don't think anything's been said yet, but it's looking towards it's gonna probably be on hiatus.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it's just it's crazy because it's one of the biggest brands right now. I mean, so we were just both in Japan, and
Family Mart had
Family Mart is fucking Jujutsu Kaisen Central.
There's figures everywhere.
Yeah, there's little yeah.
I should have gotten that Toji, but I didn't.
If only you knew. If only you'd seen this episode.
How fucking great. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the first two-parter, I guess. First, it's Fluctuations, part 1 and 2, and we finally get the fight with the ever-looming cuttlefish.
We do. But first we get
we get Mei Mei fighting against the smallpox demon.
Was it smallpox?
Yes, it was smallpox deity. In the domain expansion, which is very fun visual of the domain expansion of coffee gets put on you instantaneous, then a rock is put on you. If you don't break out in 3 seconds, you get
smallpox and die instantly. For something about sequences like this, I was joking with Sam, that was the cold open of this episode, was that whole fight.
It's cool.
And scenes like that will live in my brain forever, just because of how it just powerful the imagery is. The image of what's her name, Mei Mei, getting immediately thrown into a coffin and then immediately getting crushed by a boulder. The way it's done is so cool. The animation was incredible. The vibe of that scene was amazing, and it was literally just a cold open. Yeah.
Mei Mei
a half fight.
Mei Mei's the only character left in this that's has 0 damage on them. And she got a little bit of disease or damage on her hand. That was it. But compared to everybody else, she's in top. I guess Panda and
was
the
she
other
vaccinated though? That's the real question.
True, that's
Did she have the smallpox vaccine?
It depends on the Sorcerer Academy's
their rules, their vaccination requirements.
Yeah, their healthcare.
Yeah, if they get a free vaccine shot or not.
And I guess Panda and the other dude haven't really done anything. They got they sliced 2 guys up and that was it.
Panda still has yet to do his transformation.
We haven't seen the sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really fun. And Mei Mei uses Ui or Ui.
I don't know.
But they use them as basically yeah, you're sacrifice. You want to die for me, and then she's yeah, of course. But she brings him along not just as a pack mule, but as an anti-domain.
Yeah.
tool.
So and then they explain it too with how her crows work, which is really cool.
Yes.
So there's basically an idea that like crows are super weak.
Yes.
But if they like kill themselves, their curse energy, like they kamikaze, their curse energy is like super strong. So it's like same with him too. Like the act of like giving your life for someone is like a boosting amplifier for curses, and it just I guess synergizes with his power. So
it works.
And then yeah, also the kamikaze attack is like super base and super OP.
Yeah, it's really cool, kind of a mini fight, and it kind of just like, oh yeah, hi Pseudo Ghetto, and we're gonna cut away and never see you again for the next like 4 episodes.
True. I like how he's got one like a big oar fish around him. That's really cool. I want to see what that thing does.
But nice little fun fight. I think Mei Mei's great. I just
have to say too, like the that's like they need to like study that fight in like Shonen Academy fight school, animation school, of how like expertly done it was. Like she has 2 crows, so she's already like limited. Like she's super weak. She keeps losing.
She has 2 crows.
Yeah, only has 2 crows available. She uses one to test it, which is really cool. I like that. Like that's such a clever idea.
The bird gets like a huge ass coffin too, which is very funny.
Yeah, that is very funny. And then she beats it with the other bird, and it that was like such a great fight of like showing Mei Mei's power, creating an incredibly like unforgettable scene. Jujutsu Kaisen is just like elevated. It's like an elevated battle shonen. I can't explain it in any other way.
And yeah, and that's basically the end of the fight. And yeah,
they just get out.
Yeah, then we cut away. We'll never see it again until after hiatus. And so yeah, and then we kind of get to like because of the Nami, Maki, and Naobito, which
is that
like
his name?
Zien, yeah.
Okay.
The drunk man, and we kind of get into the encounter the cuttlefish. And they basically just like
which Maki does call octo bitch.
It's called it's octopus, but we kept calling cuttlefish and lobster.
Well, you kept calling lobster, which is funny because like when it actually appears, it
is octopus.
It is.
It looks like Cthulhu.
Well, yeah. It's Dagon. It's literally Dagon. Which, if you're not familiar, Dagon is like
the Daedric Lord in Elder Scrolls. Yeah.
Yes. No, Dagon is like a deity. I don't know. I'm sure Dagon is like was really worshipped by some people, but there's a Lovecraft story called the. What's it? This is the Innsmouth one, I think.
Okay.
Where I don't know what the title is, but something Innsmouth, and it's like a bunch of fish people that worship Dagon. It's like a Lovecraft.
Yeah.
A Lovecraft god. Yeah.
And so basically,
it's fitting design.
So basically, Nobito just like obliterates the octopus essentially, and we find out that the octopus is a cursed womb, and it hatches into Dagon essentially, and becomes like a buff winged octopus Cthulhu man.
Which that was really cool, and it was funny because it's like crying. It's like a big whiny baby at first, and it's like, Jugo, Nanami,
all my friends.
Yeah, which it doesn't know, I guess that. Well, it just says all their names, but it's kind of funny because like last time we saw Jugo, when Nanami died, or what's his name, Hinami rather.
Yeah.
Jugo like didn't give a shit.
No.
But he did seem to like have some sentimentality for them.
Oh eventually. Yeah, we'll get there when he has his life flash before his eyes.
So Nobito, maybe they just treat death differently. I guess.
I guess they believe reincarnation essentially.
Yeah.
So we like a little fight happens, and we kind of see what's it called, the Zien's like technique essentially, which is like a frame.
He literally captures you in like celluloid frame.
He has like frame data, and if you fuck up the frame data, you get like caught and frozen in place. So you can get like just hit you like one huge hit.
It is funny. I know I'm bracing myself because I know people keep talking about. There's one power in Jujutsu Kaisen.
I know what you're talking about. I think
that people say is so complicated that like nobody understands it, and people have to like.
Not this one though.
No, I don't think so. But
no. I know. I have a rough idea what it is. I like it's not it.
Because like the explanations for this part when they were explaining his power, I was like, huh? Wait, that kind of doesn't make any sense. But basically, he's able to just be very fast. That's ultimately what it is.
If you if you mess up he basically makes you both in like 1/24th of a second. If like he can plan it out, and if you don't plan it out like a good way, you get frozen essentially.
He's moving on ones when you're moving on fucking threes.
And if you don't know what the hell is going on, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's very funny.
It's very fun to watch too, because he just like puts you in like the Superman like flat Phantom Zone box that they did. I love it.
And then it shatters when someone punches you. It's cool. It feels very like fighting gamey. Like I stun you and then you just get knocked out and you're fine.
And then we kind of get like, oh no, I'm losing. So, my favorite thing is just, like him and the cuttlefish octopus Dagon are like both talking over each other in a monologue where like the one where he's going over by like 4K and like
Yeah, he's talking about like resolutions
60 FPS.
and yeah, like frame rates and stuff, and it's very strange.
They're like talking over each other about like each monologue.
And his whole thing, and the Dagon's whole thing is like, I have a name. Like Jogo, we have names. Like we exist as entities, and no, neither of them care about each other.
I am trying to talk about 60 FPS and 4K. I mean the highest quality.
It's funny he does make the common complaint that most new TVs, when you get them, are set to frame interpolation mode, which, as he even calls it, a soap opera effect.
Yes.
Which is very funny.
And so basically, like, he does the thing of, I'll just use my domain expansion right now after getting my ass beat pretty hard.
And we actually saw this domain before. This is where all the baddies were plotting in season 1.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So I guess his domain didn't change between being a curse
or like
and a regular guy.
Or like when he's in the room where it was just like, I can only make the setting, I can't do the effect yet.
Probably. He could like still do the domain, but he couldn't get the guarantee hit. I still can't get over how like weird of a mechanic the guarantee hit thing is.
Yeah,
I think that's so bizarre.
I kind of wish he didn't have like the automatic guarantee hit in it, as like just seems like a detriment. Like it seems like, oh, they should just win.
It feels like they always have to make a reason to work around it, which strange.
In this one, it was just like, oh, I have to split up the hit of 70% to Naobito and the other 30 to Nanami.
And then they end up they bring in Megami.
Yeah.
To negate that effect.
And essentially, the first thing is just like, you can't see the creatures that come out and hit you. You basically have to react as they're making contact with you. And
which that kind of goes away. And maybe that's just visual for us. Like we just see them all.
But everybody kind of gets bitten a bunch. Like it's really like Nobito fighting him for them. And
yeah.
But they all basically get swarmed until Megumi shows up and counter domains him. And there's some really fun animation though with like Nobito. It's really cool.
It's a lot of fun. This whole I love the setting here too. It's so cool that like in the middle of like, what is it, Halloween? It's literally Halloween in like Shibuya. They are suddenly thrust into like a tropical island setting, and
it's very fun. I love that. I love the sudden when you get pop out of it, and it's like
you're just back in like a fucking like
going from a graveyard into a subway.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just so sudden. There's no like slow like, oh, the domain slowly dissipating. No, it's just instant.
Yeah, I love that.
Good effect. And
so yeah, Megumi's whole plan basically was also
the first thing is like
kind of like a weird non sequitur that he jumped in like.
Yeah, he said it was easier to make a hole from the outside than it is from the inside. That's what he makes a point of. But he breaks in there saying,
Where was he before though? Like
he split off from Yuji and the beanie guy. They broke off because the beanie guy was like too hurt, and then Yuji was gonna break off to go his own way. And that's where he found the blood dude.
It just felt like weirdly convenient that he showed up here. I mean, it's an anime, but
we basically get Megumi's basically counteracting the domain, so he can't use the guarantee. But the plan is to break open this small crack that he has, like a hole underneath him, so they can all basically fight him outside the domain.
Because since he's so new, he can only make a domain like once a day.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, if we get out of here, we can just gank him.
Yeah.
Like
I'm kind of holding the hole open, and then once you get closer, I'll make it huge. We all get the hell out of here, and I do like okay, they all once this high grade sorcerer said, "Come to me now," they all like knew the plan was an urgent one, and
yeah.
And I do love that. They run off the frogs and everything, and but
I love the frog jumping. It's very funny.
But like Dagon was actually they don't fight it often, but they fought a curse that knows language, so he kind of heard the plan go off, but he wasn't sure at first because he hesitated. And it's just really cool. Nanami's also kind of messed up. Like now it was called the dude lost his arm. His right arm.
Yeah, he loses it off screen. I love that.
And he's like, "Oh man, that's a 71-year-old arm right there, man. It's a lot of experience."
It's funny because like normally in shonen, we've talked about this. Normally in shonen, if you lose an arm, you get it back, or like it's not a big deal to lose an arm. So I was like, "Oh, he's probably gonna have some bullshit power to grow his arm back." I was like, "Oh no." He's just lost his arm. He might be dead now.
No curse arm for him.
Yeah.
Now Vito, they all get away, and then the fucking amazing scene of a hand coming through the crack, and it's fucking Toji. And I like
fucking good. This is like the ultimate
elated. He's elated coming through there.
Yeah, he probably feels like the huge amount of curse energy. This is like something I talk a lot about whenever I talk about One Piece. Like One Piece arcs are structured in a way where there's always like one final little twist where you're like 70% through the arc and you think you know the stakes, and then like one giant like wrench gets thrown into the works, and like a new character shows up that is like bigger and badder than everyone else. And this is like exactly that. And it's so fun because it solves the Dagon problem, but then it creates like a whole new worse problem.
And it's also like they make this point too. Like this is like what peak Maki would look like.
Yeah, it's very funny.
And yeah,
Line.
as we get to the the part 2 episode, and
Just absolutely incredible sequence of Toji destroying him.
I freaking love Toji. He is he's one of my favorite characters for the little bit we got of him.
It's awesome. It's funny watching people watch him because they're terrified. Like the part when he starts like sharpening the fucking like they're like he's rubbing it against each other. Like what is he doing?
I love when he enters. Everyone's like, who the hell was that? And then like he's like, oh. This guy's dead. This is like...
I love his response because Maki's like, who the hell's that? He's like, a ghost.
And he just jumps around Maki, takes her stabs from that we had in the movie and like...
Also, yeah, effortlessly.
Yeah, he's like, I lost a concept of pure strength. This is like...
she's so humiliated.
And yeah, like we kind of learned like his body's basically on autopilot to fight the strongest curse they have in the area.
Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of supposed to be when his eyes go like...
Yeah, black.
Yeah.
And it's so freaking great. He just beats the hell out of him, like splits the ocean, walks on water. He's fighting underwater in his like home territory and just destroying everything. Like
just like I can't get over how incredible the show is animated. Like even just the scene of him jumping into the water and wading through the water was like, wow.
He just casually walks in the ocean and just like
they didn't need to do that, but they did, and it made it like. It was like a taunt almost. He's like, yeah, I'll go in your fucking water. Like, I'll still kill you.
Do it. Attack me.
The part when he gets like surrounded by piranhas and then like giant like fucking isopods trying to eat him and he just is like, nah. Oh my God. Love that so much for him.
Yeah. It's just great. Peak Toji just beating the crap. Just literal over like, insane power level. The sharpening the stabs.
I think Megami calls it. It's called like Dancing Cloud or
Playful
something.
Cloud.
Playful Cloud. Yeah, and it's just hilarious. Like this is like a treasured artifact, and he just is using it to kill. Like I will turn this into a killing instrument.
He does like a stabbing in the head, like just repeatedly. It's just like so.
Yeah, the way he actually kills him is awesome. Like so, yeah, he stabs him like through the arm, so it like pins his arm to his head, and then he stabs the other one, and then he uses the third one because he just shatters the chain to just wallop him, and then that's what we're talking about.
Just
like
splattered in
he's
blood,
still in the air, and then like the world turns back to the subway like immediately. It's
in
so cool.
Sweater and all. Just like, it's great. It's just really good. This man just gets dominated.
Yeah, and then I love how it cuts to like Megami gets knocked out of the room so quick he doesn't even know what happened. He's like, wait, why did I get launched out of the room?
Well, yeah, that's like at the very end. But yeah, the Dagon just gets destroyed. He gets through his final flash life before his eyes and like
ripping toes.
Dies, just crumbles, and then yes, we cut back. And Megumi gets like teleported out essentially, and the others like as we come to learn that Jugo basically spawns in there with the hand, and yes, I guess Toji's next target is Megumi.
Yeah, and then so yeah, that happens right before Jogo comes in, right?
He disappears, and then Jogo appears and like holds the hand and mourns, and then lights everybody on fire.
All right, so we do see Nanami.
Yeah,
and we know he's a little crispy.
Well,
but Maki also got fucked.
Her back frozen a little bit, or back burnt a little bit. But then what's it called? Nabito, he gets put on fire, but before he's gonna say eliminate 3, that's when he gets distracted by Sukuna.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he's 100% dead or just
true. Which it seemed like he was the most dead. But...
He was frozen in place, but he had the white beard standing up. You know.
I definitely want him to come back. He was pretty. I want him to. There's got to be more to his power. Like we only saw like part of it.
He's a ZN. He should be the one to help explain ZN bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we find that the 2 daughters find Yuji's body and feed him a finger, and then Jogo appears, like tries to blast them away, and then feed.
He does blast them away, but the one girl with her phone,
iPhone power.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the ability is kind of like it like takes you back to when you were in the photo. So they get blasted, but then they get like a few minutes later they get like respawned basically.
And their plan is that they want to feed him a finger to get Sukuna to appear, and if Sukuna appears, they can get him to kill Pseudo Geto. And then when Jogo appears, he feeds him 10, so Sukuna would be temporarily in control of the body for a short amount of time and to wake him up for a little bit. And as we learn, horrible decision.
It was horrible. This scene is so fucking cool when he just like he appears and he's like hold your head up or whatever, and then immediately like slash.
Yeah, the two girls go immediately all the way on the ground. Like Jogo's like top of his head gets cut.
Yeah, because he goes to kneel
on one knee.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And yeah, girls. What do you want? Like kill Ghetto, and it's like destroys the one girl's head.
Well, because they say we know the location of another finger. We'll tell you, and he's like insulted by it. He's like, "You think I was like, oh, need another finger?" I was so sad. The way he kills the one girl, is so brutal, and like the other girl screaming her name,
blows
insane.
Her head.
And then yeah, she gets like fucking turned into cubes.
And Jogo's like, "What do you want?" Like, I don't want anything. But it's like
he's like, all right, first test pass.
Well, yeah, he's like, okay, I will follow you any order you guys give. I'll even kill every human in this town, but you have to land a hit on me. And he's like,
oh, is that why he's saying every human except one? And he wants
Megumi.
Megumi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
I was like, is he just gonna like leave like one survivor like for fun?
One to tell the story.
Yeah, basically. That's what I was thinking.
Assuming it's Megumi, because he always had a fascination with him.
Yeah, pedophile.
And yeah, that Jugo, like his ego comes out, and like even before we see a flashback at some point where he's just like, how strong is he right now? Like with this many fingers, he So
they say Jugo's power
is 8 to 9.
8 to 9 being generous.
Generous,
yeah.
yes. And right now he has like 15. I think Jogo says
15 at minimum.
Right now he has like 15 at least.
So he's pretty strong.
Yeah. So
wow, there's one finger hidden somewhere, and then there's 4 other fingers that we just don't know about. So I'm surprised how quickly we're speedrunning.
Yeah, they just had 10. Jogo just had 10 on him.
That's hilarious.
And so yeah, and that's
another thing too. When in that flashback, Pseudo Gacho is saying, even if he takes all the fingers, there's a chance that
he will not want to take it.
Yeah, Yuji might be able to fight him off still.
Yeah,
but that's like under the impression that he is like pacing himself, not like
they just
shotgunning all the fingers at once,
which is what they just did right now.
Yeah.
So it's freaking brutal. And then they're done. We had the conversation. It kind of just ends with like everybody being distracted for a split second of like Sukuna and Jugo stuff. A lot of like time stuff going on of like,
things are happening like simultaneously.
Yes. So that's happening. Fight starting now, but let's cut back next episode. We're gonna cut back to show you like the beginning of all that stuff. And yeah, that's gonna be the battle that's going to overwork many of animators. So yeah, episode 40 is Thunderclap, which is essentially the end of the Toji stuff, and then the beginning of like the Sukuna. I guess it is an entire Sukuna Jogo fight, and then beginning of the Sukuna curse fighting the summon arc. But yeah, so we get Megumi, and Megumi's strategy is just to run away essentially until he can hopefully get a hit in at some point.
Yeah, the idea is that like, so he knows that, I forgot her name, Ijiri, the nurse that can heal people.
Yeah.
He knows that she's nearby, so he's like, if I can like guarantee like a healable wound, I can get myself close enough for a decisive hit.
I do love that.
That is very clever. I like that too.
And I'm gonna spam bunnies until and the bunnies go.
I forgot about this. So much shit happened in these 4 episodes.
Yeah, the bunnies the only thing I saw of these episodes while we were waiting. It did like kung fu, like spinning around.
So first they're just launching themselves at him, and then he starts doing kung fu attacks at what's his name? Toji, and I was like, wait, are the bunnies gonna start doing kung fu? And they literally do. And
one of my favorite moments is, so Toji does like this like ground stomp that makes like rocks and debris go there, and he just starts shooting tiny debris at the bunnies like bullets. It's so great. I fucking love this scene.
It's so joyous. Like this scene is like incredible.
Like even though he's like a mindless like husk going on right now, he is literally just having the time of his life.
Peak performance, like killing all these bunnies
in his sweater.
It's so funny too because the bunnies are like not a threat at all. They're just like little fluff balls.
Just distractions. But he wants to kill everything, and like, I guess I gotta do it. It's like a horror, like a slasher film. Like, oh, we gotta set up a decoy. I'm like, oh, we're having sex over here. Like, I gotta kill it.
It is kind of cool how he uses his like summons differently. Like we've seen the wolves before, and like there are like a few wolves.
He's using it all for retreating.
Yeah, it's cool to see how like they're being used like as a like crowd control thing.
And like basically like it accumulates to like the alleyway where like he lets him like stab him in like the stomach a little bit, and then so you can try to stab him again, but he jumps away, and then this is kind of when like a memory of comes in where he's like basically like talking to what's it called, the to the ZN we were mentioning with a Naomi.
Nobito? Was it?
Nobito, yeah. Talking to him about like, oh, what's he look like? He looks like he's gonna be if he develops a technique, I'll buy him off of you and like all the things.
Like for like presumably like 10,000 yen.
Yeah, and or 10 million most likely.
Oh, maybe million. Yeah, it's human trafficking. Let's go. Our numbers are gonna get higher.
Yes, and
10 million yen, not as much as you'd think.
And he asked what his name was, and he went with the other had different last name. He's like, "Good, you didn't take the ZN name," and then just kills himself.
Incredible scene. Just stabs himself in the head, and then to make it even funnier, it ends with him literally reverting back to the son of the lady.
Yeah, the corpse, and
so,
then
like Megumi's just like, what was that about? Like,
and then fucking incel Edward Elric just
yeah.
appears and
Incel
stabs him in the
Elric.
back and hate this guy.
I'm surprised he's back. I thought he was like cowardly enough.
Well, not for long.
Also, I like that. I can't remember what episode it was. But
Next episode, we learn his power.
We learn his stupid power that he doesn't know about.
I do. It's so funny.
Does he just think he's got like
Lucky.
random like fucking like makeup on? Like what the fuck?
He's what's it called? He's Heiya from Part 7. Where
Basically.
he just doesn't really understand or know what it is, but it's just his power.
Yeah.
So that's basically that entire fight. There's a couple cut in betweens. Like we get Panda and what's his name?
What is his name actually?
I don't know. It just calls him. Okay, so it basically like tired detective man.
Yeah, I was thinking.
He doesn't want to fight.
He feels
like
he's kind of like that tired detective.
He basically doesn't want to fight at all because he knows like there's super strong guys in there, and they basically encounter like members of Geto's cult that's like not part of the brainwash with pseudo Gendo or Geto, like the girls, like the daughters, like they were part of it. So we have the two we see, which is like looks like the guy with the eye patch from Bleach, and the girl with like a turtleneck, and then there's like a heart nipple guy which we haven't seen where he's at yet.
He's really big.
Yes,
he looks really
his
familiar.
His voice killed a fly.
Yeah, I wonder if he was in the movie in the background.
Because
Geto rolled in with a crew in like one scene.
Yeah, they mentioned Miguel at one point too.
Yeah, so I can't remember. He may have been in the movie. My boy Miguel.
But yeah, that's basic. And yeah, we kind of get that stuff in there, and they have a standoff, and which doesn't really go anywhere. I think the dude cuts like two of them, but like at some point when Sukuna appears in the next episode, but that's like everything going on with them. We have to wait longer for that. And
you get the vibe that they're like strongly outmatching these randos. Like these guys would have no issue fighting. Like Panda would have no issue fighting these randos.
Oh yeah.
But then everything gets flipped on its head.
Yeah, because we see what's it called, Jugo and what's it called?
So
Sukuna fighting.
I think what they do is they show the explosion at the end of that scene with Panda and Detective Guy.
Yes.
And then it cuts back a bit.
Where we see him jumping out, like one of them jumping out like the building or falling out of the building.
And then we see like their proper fight, which is fucking crazy.
Yes. And basically, like, Jugo is just so out of his league. He can't land a hit. It's
literally he can't land a hit. It's very unfortunate.
Like he burns him up, and I think
he tries his epic super ultra move, which is Meteor.
The funniest thing that happens in this fight is basically Jogo gets like beaten, and he has like his life flash before his eyes, and he sees Sukuna, and he has this like, you know what, you were actually pretty strong, and then it comes to Sukuna's like, you suck. It's essentially.
Yeah, so I imagine that he had that like rush of chemicals that you get when you're dying, so you just hallucinate.
It's so funny. It's so good. As I said, a lot of crazy like lava, like fire powers. Sukuna is basically all slashes. Essentially, he's like an expert of like slashes and cuts.
But it's not all that he can do, because at the end they have this epic. I actually really like how that scene concludes with the
he had also like a fire ability. He had like a fire arrow, which I'm not sure if he had like a copy ability to kind of mimic like the fire, or like.
I think that because he said like certain words, and some of it was like blocked out. So
true.
I think the idea is that he, over his like 1,000 years, he's probably collected a lot of techniques, like ultimate sort of techniques that he can call upon at any moment.
But Jogo gets like slashed up, his arm gets like disintegrated a lot of times.
It's just I mean, there's not much to say about it. Like the fight is epic.
Yeah.
Like unfortunately that's all I can say. Compared to like the last fight in the last batch of episodes we talked about, like where there was a lot of like, I don't know, there was like just a lot going on in these fights that are just like, and they're flying around blowing shit up. It's fucking awesome looking. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's a shame the 41 didn't have the same amount of time in the oven, because you could tell that they would have. There was some shots that looked a little unfinished in terms of like the actual like subject matter, not just the backgrounds, but
yeah, then we get the mysterious person that we mentioned like the very first season that we don't no one knew who you're talking about when you ask your friend about it. It's like Uraume, which is just like I guess Sukuna's like.
It's a boy. I thought it was a girl.
Yeah, it's basically their number 2, I guess, for Sukuna. Like the only person Sukuna won't murder like on site.
Yeah, it seems like I'm guessing like an old friend or something like that.
Thousands of years old, I guess. Maybe maybe an actual cursed spirit.
Presumably, oh yeah, I was gonna say presumably a human.
Probably not. And so yeah, and what's it called? And then that's what he said. We cut the next episode. That's like the end of the episode, I think. Actually, when Sukuna goes off because he notices something's off, which we learn is going to be.
Oh, we didn't talk about the best part where Sukuna jumps right into the middle of the panda fight, and he's like,
"Oh, that's his next episode."
No, that was the meteor. Remember, it was.
Oh, okay, this is the meteor. That's right.
Jugo's meteor, and he was like.
No one move,
or I'll kill you instantly. And he literally waits for the last. This is such a fun little moment. I love this. And of course, Panda teleports away with his detective friend.
Yeah, they get away. I'm not sure about the other guys. The other 2.
Probably not. They're probably toasties.
The thing also does a really funny thing where just like, oh yeah, your girl's powers were with the smartphone or something. Huh? Whatever.
Oh yeah, and crushes it too, which I thought was really smart because. In my head, I was like, "Oh well, they came back earlier. There was just a scene where they were evaporated and then came back, but yeah, they probably are dead if the phone's broken, unless there's another asshole. And then there's the cloud data backup.
Cloud backup. That'd be very funny. That's how one of them came back that way.
It's like Mechamaru just having like fucking
backups,
cloud backups everywhere.
So yeah, Thunderclap Part 2, which is so basically Incel Rick.
Edward Eller.
Yes. He basically slashes Megumi, and we learned that he builds up like he uses like his daily luck points essentially to build up marks under his eyes, and those are his like staying alive.
Basically,
lucky points.
Get out of jail free card.
It's very the Hunter x Hunter thing. It feels like an ability.
Yeah, I really wanted to compare this arc to Hunter x Hunter again because like I really get the same vibe, especially with like the amount of chaos.
Yes.
In these 2 episodes, it really does remind me of
things happening simultaneously like a time frame. And so yeah, basically that powers go. His power is going off. Megumi's like, I gotta do what I've been trying to do for like over a season and a half now, which is to summon this uncontrollable like summon essentially that can like kill anything. And once he kills a target, it takes my life as payment essentially.
It's so cool. So yeah, we learn his 10 spirit curses technique. There's actually only 9 that have been like subjugated. Because in order to this is also I love this like what is it called, lore shit, world building shit, where like if you are a user of that ability, you need to like subjugate each curse yourself before you can use it. But then you can use it unlimitedly. And the only one that no one's ever been able to subjugate is this dude with the big big angel wings for eyes.
Yes, I think it's like oh my god, I was saying with the M. I'm gonna double check the name
Murakami.
of it. No, but it's a really really like fun fight, and he kind of gets like knocked. Like Megumi kind of gets like knocked away, and
it's funny when once he completes the ritual, he's like, it's like I'm going first. You're next, Edward Elric. And then he gets thwatted to the side.
Yeah.
And yeah, that takes him out for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, I think when Sukuna, like he's about to get killed, and he uses his last luck point for Sukuna to save him, and Sukuna's like, I need Megumi alive, so I'll keep you alive, boy. And then, yeah, and then he basically he does teleport Megumi to Shoko and the principal at some point too.
Eventually, that was after the fight, I think.
Yeah.
Shoko, that's her name, yes.
Yes, Smoker. And so, yeah, they just have a crazy-ass... Sukuna and the Summit just have a crazy-ass fight. And it's one of those fights that's, like, probably killed and made a bunch of people quit.
Killed people IRL and
he literally... It's so many people are slaughtered. Like, you see the slaughtering happen, and he does do his domain expansion, which essentially is just a giant shredder. That just shreds everything, and like there's just so much destruction. It's literally insane how much destruction.
Yeah, not only does it just shred everything, it makes like a mini nuke. So there's like a perfect fucking like like circle of Shibuya that's gone now.
Also, so it was something called Mahoraga,
Okay.
and it had the ability to adapt and anything. That's why it got more a better opponent for Sukuna essentially.
Yeah, there was something about how like the its little like wheel will turn. It's a way for it to like what's the word? Mitigate his like slash damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, he lost. Pretty epic.
But yeah, the city is like
once he domain expanded, it just fucking turned into a red mist. It was pretty cool.
But he still fails in comparison to Eren Yeager's body count.
It was just funny to but also the ending where he like Yuji gets control again of the body and he's like, no.
That face rivals the David face from Cyberpunk of just like dead inside, like, oh, it's just fucked up, man. I thought like, oh, he's not gonna remember any of this stuff, or maybe he'll come back and he sees like blood on his hand, but no, he remembers everything. He was like, I'm gonna make him remember everything. All the bodies, the heads exploded.
It's so bad.
It's great.
Yeah, and then he rubs his fucking hands raw.
I think we said like, man, Sukuna has been like a non-factor for a while, and he brought him back in probably the craziest way they possibly could.
Yeah, it just shows like the next time he comes out, it's gonna be like really fucking.
I wanted
serious.
Toji to stay around though.
There's no way.
He's too strong.
Yeah.
Maki has to be the new Toji.
Yeah. Also, it's like that kind of thing. Like the way he came back, it's like it's got to be temporary. You can't bring him back forever.
Yeah, it's still sad though. I love him.
Toji's very cool. He's so OP.
Yeah, but now what OP characters do you have? Like Nanami's fucked up now. Like,
well, Nanami.
He's like after credits scene.
Walking.
He's like a half. He got Levi where like his body's like fucked up.
Yeah, but we love that.
And yeah, I'm like, what OP characters do we have? Like, because Gojo's fridged. Like, none of the characters on the good guy side are like, you know, Mei Mei is like is doing okay there, but I don't see she's not like.
Who do they? They only have to fight Geto, right?
Pseudo Geto and Mojito are left
Mojito,
alive.
That's right.
They're left.
It's probably gonna be Yuji versus Mojito.
And the blood guy is still around, but I'm not sure he has his gay thoughts still going on. That's making him freak out.
In my opinion, he's totally out of it. His gay thoughts, no, they're brotherly thoughts.
We don't know the full extent of what he thinks about.
That's still so stupid. We had comments explaining. So in our last episode, I should have addressed this. We had comments explaining. We talked about the whole thing with him.
It could have made it seem like Sukuna made him like get these fake memories because he didn't want the body to die.
Yeah, which is like, oh, interesting ability for Sukuna.
He's done that before.
Wait, did he do it before?
He did it before where somebody tried to soul contact him and he just fucked him up.
Well, that was Mojito, yeah. But he never gave someone random memories.
I assumed it was like a soul thing he tried to do, and then he just like fucked up his soul to make him think of something else.
No, people in the comments were like, no, it just happened randomly. He just suddenly like. It's almost like it's a secret ability that Yuji has.
It's like I can believe it. Like Toto has those delusional thoughts of like making up shit that doesn't happen.
So yes,
before.
people brought that up. People brought up that it also happens with Toto.
But that was the thing. It made it seem like okay, this is how he is, where he just makes up.
It just made it seem like Toto was like brain broken, and like this is how. Also, going with the whole thing about how Toto's obsessed with idols, like. It tied into because like the idol was a character in his little daydream, so it made it seem like this is like a thing that Toto does.
This is how his mind palace works. The other guy was just like, oh yeah, this guy's now part of your family. The guy that killed your brother that you're dead set on murdering.
Yeah.
Makes no one could really explain it though in the comments, right?
No, not at least if they were holding spoilers back. But it made it seem like. It might be something with Yuji himself that is causing it.
Yuji has mind powers, I guess.
He's subconsciously activating people to like care about him. He's like a reverse sociopath. He's like
instead of talk no jutsu, you just like give him fake memory no jutsu.
That's awful. That's like evil.
Like live 1,000 lives. I'm your brother now. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at this fucked up family we have here. And yeah, that's basically the 4 part. We don't know when it will come back. If not, but other than that, I really enjoyed these episodes. Still, like
it's so exciting. I love Jujutsu.
I will gladly consume all of Toji stuff. Like
consume all of Toji.
I will consume this huge man in his stupid sweater. But I said, I just please Mappa, just give your animators a rest, like from Attack on Titan to Chainsaw Man to Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, give him a rest.
I saw a tweet that was like, "Hey, reminder, there's a Chainsaw Man movie coming out next year." I was like,
Are they? I forgot about it. I know there's also like is Spy Family Mappa?
It's a Wit and
okay.
and another studio. No, but Wit is like a co-production.
Okay.
It may be Mappa.
That's
I'm
also
not
getting a
sure.
movie as well.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. It's not.
Honestly, you
who
can name
does it?
most animes and it'd probably be a Mappa production.
It's really like that now.
But it sucks. It really sucks. Maybe if they go back and actually refinish, I guess, or redo episode 17, like what they wanted to do, but with time.
They probably will for the Blu-ray. They always do that.
Yeah, I'm hopes that'd be cool to see what they really want to do, because the scale of that fight is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I would like to rewatch. I mean, okay, I had kind of like a complaint actually about it. Oh, it's Cloverworks.
Cloverworks. Okay.
It's very funny. We actually, when I was in Japan, I passed the Cloverworks building. It was very funny. I was like, whoa, there's animators in there. Probably having a bad time. But there's one thing that, like, I did have a moment in that fight, like the
yeah, I remember
where
you
my
saying
eyes
it.
like kind of glazed. Like I was thinking about other things, like because the fight was just so gratuitous and so over the top. It was like I can't even focus on this anymore. Like I need something. I need something to like pull me back in, like talk or something, please.
Yeah, it's hard. It was hard to keep track of some of it too. Some of the
Yeah.
colors and everything. Like, but there were some cool things, like, seeing the people inside the building being like, "Oh, that guy outside said it was gonna be okay," and then they just get cut.
Yeah, it honestly needed more of those scenes to like keep my interest.
Civilians dying.
Because like after a while, I can see like a million buildings go in the air, and it's like, okay, there's like a million more.
But that was the incident. How Shibuya or part of Shibuya got turned into a friggin' smoldering crater.
It
That
must be. Yeah.
there would be no way to keep this like under wraps.
Yeah, what do you said like, oh, it'd have to be like a gas leak or something.
Gas leak, a very bad gas leak.
Huge though, like the amount of space. Like it would be easier if they were just like, hey, by the way, like we just got like Korea just sent a giant missile at us,
like
North Korean missile test accident.
It's literally insane they can keep the cursed stuff secret or what happened to Shibuya. I don't know how they explain it, especially with all these witnesses of people just. Oh yeah, people just fucking sliced up in the middle with nothing touching them.
Yeah.
But
and Edward Eller gets sliced in the.
Oh yeah, he's
way.
like, you can go. And yeah, and he sliced. Thank God he's dead. I think one of our major things, like, oh, no one dies. No one on the bad guy side
in these
dies.
4 episodes, like almost all of them die.
3 guys left of the bad guy crew, other than not including Sakuna's crew.
Yeah.
That he's slowly making. But I guess anything else to say?
Honestly, no. I'm just
a lot of good action. If you want some good action slop, this is what you get.
It really is the good action slop that my body craves.
The Toji slop is the best kind. I've been thinking about going back and rewatching like the flashback in the beginning just to watch the Toji stuff. So, should we plug it up?
Plug it up, Sam.
Or are we plugging up?
Plug up the hole that's inside Toji's head.
I would say Nanami's like entire half charred corpse. Thank you all very much for listening. If you like that, leave a like, leave a comment, you can subscribe if you haven't already, leave a review. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter or me or Jim separately on that platform. You can also, if you want to have your name shout out in the beginning of Jokakaka episodes every month, you can pay any kind of money you're comfortable leaving on our Patreon. And with that, I think that's everything.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. This was a treat as always. And,
yeah. We don't know when this will be back.
Yeah,
who knows?
Sooner than later, but we'll see. We're kind of dependent on them making more of them. So.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.